Hey everybody, it's me, New York vocalist Benita Charles, again for another episode of Singing Tips. I hope everyone's having a great weekend. I hope that you're enjoying the weather. It's been really nice these days. Hasn't been too cold, so let's enjoy it while we can because we know that it's going to get cooler around the corner. So, I'm back for another episode of Singing Tips. I missed you guys last week. I wonder if you... Hi, Naj, how are you? Tony, hello. And welcome to Singing Tips. I was just saying that I missed you guys last week. I had a show at the Shrine with Preacher Man and the Revival, and it was awesome. And I wanted to pop on last week, but I just didn't get a chance. So, hi, darling, how are you? So here I am again for another episode of Singing Tips. Thanks so much for the love. I really appreciate it. So if you're new to Singing Tips, my name is Benita Charles, and every week I give beginner singers tips on how to become professional singers. And this is Singing Tips with me, Benita Charles. So far, let's see. We have had 23 tips. Can you believe it? 23 tips. Hi, Tim. Thanks so much for coming in. I hope everyone's having a great weekend and happy Saturday. And I'm just saying that so far we've had 23 tips, and we're just counting them all down. Now, if you're new to Singing Tips, let me give you some background. So, I was inspired to do Singing Tips because I had a lot of singers come to me and they wanted to know like how to sing or how to become a singer. They didn't know where to start. So I decided with my experience I should develop a program for beginner singers. And the whole way it's designed was inspired by the movie Get On Up. Now, if you're not familiar with that movie, it came out in 2014, and it was the story of James Brown. And it was a phenomenal movie. If you have not, yes, very inspirational, exactly. And if you have not seen that movie, I'm going to talk about it every week until everybody that comes into Singing Tips see this movie. But it's the story of James Brown, and there was a section in the movie that really resonated with me. James was talking to his manager, and he wanted to do some business things, take control of his career. And so his manager said to him, this is show business. You worry about the show, I take care of the business. And James Brown said, no. I'm going to do both. And that's exactly what he did. And it really made me think about my own career because I have focused so much on the show part. You know, I've gotten lessons, I've studied, I've been on stage, various stage productions, and I always thought about the show. And I never thought about the business. And that is, I'm going to say at this point, 80% is the business. If you don't deal with the business, you're not going to make any money. So really you need both. This is show business. So that's how I design Singing Tips. We're starting with the show and we're going to move into the business. And we've been moving along. The first 10 tips we talked about your talent. That's the foundation. If you don't know if you can't sing, you're not going to make any money. So we focus on your singing, your talent, getting yourself ready, taking lessons, finding an instructor, learning songs, working on your voice, practicing. Then we moved into live performance. So now that you developed your talent, it's time to sing in front of an audience. So all of the tips from 11 through 20 has been about live performance. So then I got to thinking, when I first moved to New York, I met a gentleman who changed my life. He told me, Benita, you should write your own songs. You should release your own music. Now, at the time, I didn't know what that meant, and it was a little overwhelming for me, so I just didn't deal with it. But years later, I did something with it and I released my own music. So this section that we're working on now is all about songwriting. It's all about writing and releasing your own songs. So from tips 20, I think it's 20, yes, from 20 to 30, we're going to be talking about songwriting. So now we're on tip number 24. So the last singing tip, we talked about song structure. And I told you that with your songs, you have a first verse, you have a chorus, which is your hook, you have your second verse, you have another chorus, and this is the style that I like, and then you have a bridge, which is kind of a different part of the music, but it connects the first part of the song to your highlight, your important part. And then you end it with the repeat of the chorus, the hook. So that's what we talked about in the last singing tip, was song structure. So this week, we're going to talk about music and lyrics, because that's the heart of your song. So before we go into that, I want to share something with you that happened to me. Oh, hi, Andrea. How are you? Thanks so much for joining. Just talking about singing tips. This is a show for beginner singers, but I have a lot of people who watch, and they're not singers but you can get something out of it, because whatever you want to do, you do it step by step. So this is for singers. Oh, hi, Dishi. How are you? So thanks so much for joining. This is Singing Tips, and every week I give tips to beginner singers. So we're talking about songwriting, because this is the section we're on. We're talking about working on releasing your own music. So this week, hi Don Ravy Cakes, how are you, dear? Thanks so much for joining Singing Tips today. We're talking about songwriting. We're talking about creating your own songs. And this week we're talking about music and lyrics. But before we get into that, I want to share something with you guys that happened to me. Hi cousin, how are you? I want to share something that happened to me a couple of weeks ago. I had a situation that shook me to my core. And you know, I would say I'm a pretty nice person. I'm not a confrontational person, but someone invaded my space. If you know what I mean, someone, I don't want to get into too much detail, but someone stepped to me the wrong way. And at the time, I was a little taken aback, so I wasn't able to really say what I wanted to say. Well, let me just start off by saying, first of all, I was caught off guard. And you know how when you're caught off guard, you're not thinking, when someone steps into you the wrong way, you don't think very clearly. And I'm not a confrontational person, so I think I wasn't really, hey, how are you, cousin? Love you too. I guess I can say I wasn't prepared for someone being rude to me, and they were very rude to me, very just in my business and kind of condescending. And so I don't feel like I wasn't able to express myself. I'll put it like that. So after I hung up with the person, I realized that, wait a minute, you know, this wasn't appropriate. You know, this person really stepped over their lines, and they didn't treat me respectfully. But the worst part about it was I did not address it to the person, or shall I say, I didn't check the person. So I was very angry. I had a lot of anger, and I think a lot of the anger was toward myself, because I felt like I didn't handle that very well. Like, I allowed that person to do that to me. So this inspired a song, and that's why I brought it up, because we're talking about songwriting. So I decided to write a song about it. So we're talking about music and lyrics, and usually what happens with me is, with a song, I will get an inspiration, like for in this case, I had a reason why I had a scenario. So this song is called No More. And basically this song is about how I'm standing up for myself, and I'm telling this person, you're not going to treat me this way anymore. I'm not going to allow you to treat me this way anymore. So I'm working on this song, and I decided that for singing tips, I'm going to use this song as an example. So I got the song title. I started working a melody in my mind with the chorus, and which is the hook. We were talking about that the last singing tips. I've been working on the first verse. I've been formulating it, so I'm not going to reveal it right now. I think I want to, but this is something that I'm bringing up because we're talking about music and lyrics, and this is how my process. Usually, I'm inspired. Oh, hi, Sharon. How are you? Usually, I'm inspired, and I hear music in my head. Now, I don't play an instrument, but I grew up in the choir, so music is natural for me. Harmonies, I can sing with harmonies and different things. And so usually I got the song title already, No More, because basically I'm saying, no, that's not going to happen again. I'm not going to allow someone to disrespect me and not check them. Now, I'm a firm believer that you don't have to be rude to someone, but you do have to be forceful and to the point. And you don't allow someone to step over their bounds. And I know sometimes, like in my case, sometimes a person can throw you off guard. Like I just wasn't ready or expecting that person to come so rude to me. So you know how sometimes when you're thrown off guard, you don't always, oh, hi there, how are you? Happy Saturday. You're not always prepared, but I think I will be next time. And also, I got a great song out of it. So I got the title, No More. I'll share that with you. And I've already started working on the first verse. I already have the hook pretty much, but I'm working on that. So I'm going to need a second verse. I'm going to need the bridge, and I'm going to need the highlight of the song. So that's the structure, and that's how I normally work. And a lot of times with me, like for instance, I got the melody in my head for the chorus. It just came to me because I was like, no more. No, you're not gonna do that to me again. No. You know, I feel like I'm a pretty nice person, but no one has the right to treat you rudely or to be rude to you, you know. And it's up to you to stand up for yourself and protect yourself and not allow someone, and you don't have to be rude, but you can just be forceful and say, no, you're not going to talk to me like that. So that's the whole premise of this song. And I'm really excited about it because it's allowing me to release some of this anger that I had. I had to, forgive. I forgive that other person, and I had to forgive myself. But know that, no, that's not going to happen again. So I got a great song out of it, and I can't wait to share it with you guys, because in this section, we're going to be working, and I'm going to reveal it soon. It actually is coming together very well, and I should be finished with it pretty soon. But like I said, my process is sometimes I'll get a melody, and I have to work around with lyrics to fit that melody, or sometimes I get the lyrics. Like with my song, Can I Touch You There? I was on the number 2 train. I had a long commute, and I was on that train, and those words started coming to me. Can I touch you there? You know where no one's ever touched you before. And I'm writing feverishly, on the train. But so sometimes the lyrics comes, sometimes the music comes, sometimes I get both. So that adds the question that I was thinking, well, what's more important, the lyrics or the music? I say both. I mean, a great song is, the words hit you. Or you hear that music and it evokes emotion. So I have some notes here. So that's the first point, was what's more important. And I say both. Because with the music, you can bring back memories, and with with the lyrics, it brings back memories, and with the music, it touches your emotions. And so I shared my process with you in terms of how I write my songs. Sometimes it's like in this case, it's something that happened to me that inspired me to write this song. But sometimes it's an idea that I think about, or sometimes someone will say to me, can you write a song about, a love affair, and, it's gone bad and we want to get together and that kind of thing. But like I said, in this case, it was something that happened in my life. Hey, how are you doing, Sahira? Thanks so much for joining me today. We're talking about songwriting on Singing Tips today. Now, Sahira's a singer. Now, do you write your own music, Sahira? Please let us know. But yeah, we're talking about, because I shared something in this section, and tip number 21 was the first part of this section, and I shared a story that when I first moved to New York back in 1996, so that's a long time ago, but I met a gentleman who, you do? Yes, you write your own songs. Exactly. I really feel like singers should write their own songs, and especially if you're singing, all these beautiful cover songs. Hi, Lionel. Thanks so much for coming in. If you're singing these cover songs, and let's just break it down. A cover song is someone else's song. Someone else wrote that song. So when you write your own music, if it becomes popular, you're writing a cover song. As a matter of fact, I learned that I'm due royalties. Oh, wow, you got some unpaid royalties due. That's even better. And we're going to cover that a little bit later in terms of releasing your songs and copywriting and all that. But right now, we're just kind of like talking about the process of songwriting. And that's coming up in a few more tips down the line. But absolutely, there's money to be made. Hi, Lionel. How are you? There's money to be made with your songs. But right now, we're just working on the actual song and the process. So I'm just sharing my process. And if you haven't heard the story, I shared an experience that happened to me recently where someone just really was rude to me and inappropriate. And I think the worst part about it was I didn't check that person. And so this will not be the last time this happened to you. Let your feelings, a few angers. Life is short. You must enjoy your life. Prosper, communication hurt. Yes, I understand, cousin. I'm sorry I didn't read everything you said. Hi, Sala. My aunt is here. Hello. It's my aunt from Detroit. Hi, darling. I love you. Yeah, you're right. It's not going to be the first time that someone steps the wrong way. But I think that it really was a wake-up call for me, because I needed to, I guess I would say I needed to not allow that to happen to myself again, in the sense of not addressing it. I do admit that I am a type of person that don't like conflict, so sometimes I can be too nice. But I think I've had enough, and I feel like the anger really made me say to myself, no. Like my song says, no more. No. I'm not going to allow someone to do that to me again. And I think that we all have a right to be respected. And we all have a right to stand up for ourselves. And if someone steps to us that way, to say, no, you don't know, that's not acceptable. So, and then that's what this song is all about. This song is empowerment. It's saying, no, you are not going to talk to me like that again. And, no one has a right to invade your space. No one has a right to invade your privacy. Now, with social media, people reveal a lot, they say a lot, and you know what? It's your prerogative. Whatever you want to share with people, that's a courtesy. But no one has a right to step to you and demand to know your business. Oh, hi, Paul. Hello. I'm so glad you guys caught me live. It's not about anger. It's about being treated fairly. Exactly. And also treating yourself fairly. Not allowing someone else to get out of line and not correct them on that. And you can do it politely. I'm not saying you have to be rude or cursing anyone out. I'm just saying that you have to, and this is with a sense of yourself, and just know that no one has a right to be rude to you. No. And that's what this song is about. No more. That's not going to happen to me again. And I think probably too, I'm going to be more aware, because like I said, the person threw me off and I wasn't really ready for it. But I got a great song out of it. And I'm not angry anymore. I forgive that person, and I forgive myself. But I think sometimes things like that are good to happen to you, because it really was a wake-up call for myself. And I'm like, I'm gonna treat myself better than that. And I got a great song out of it. And it's sort of like, hey, you know what? We all deserve to be respected, and we have to respect ourselves. And we have to know what our boundaries, and I think that's what it is boundaries, knowing your boundaries. Are imitating life? Yes. And you know what? I know someone else can identify with this song. I know someone else has been in a situation where they didn't handle something the way they feel like they should have, or they allowed someone to disrespect them, and it went unnoticed or unchecked. And sometimes if you don't check people, they'll feel like that's okay, that's the norm. And no one has a right to be rude to you. No one has a right to do that. But you have to, within yourself, I feel like you have to know that in yourself that that's not acceptable. And once you know that in yourself that that's not acceptable, when it happens again, you're not going to take it. And so that's what this song is all about. No more. So I can't wait to share that with you guys. And it's funny because I'm really started to work on it. I got the first verse is starting to formulate. And as I said in my last scope, I usually like the structure the framework that I have with my songs. Usually is first verse, chorus, which is the hook, no more. Second verse, a bridge, and then the end of the song. So, I still got a ways to go, because I got to get the second verse, I got to get the bridge, but the chorus, the hook is already there. No more. And usually, so anyway, let me tell you this. The last scope, I shared a book called Everything You Ever Wanted to Know About Songwriting But Didn't Know Who to Ask. Now, this is an old book. I discovered this book at the New York Public Library, the Performing Arts Library at Lincoln Center. And it's written by a country artist, Cliffy Stone. Now, he wrote this book for a beginner songwriter. So, this is a show for beginner singers. Perfect book, a song for, and I started reading reading this book again because I recommended it, and I wanted to share that with you. And I'm thoroughly enjoying it again. It's very down to earth, very conversational, and it's a great book. And in the book he said this book is specifically for beginner songwriters. And one of the things that he said, which is so true, he said that usually you start with a song title or song concept. So for me, in this instance, the song concept was No More, and which is the title. Also, another thing that he said is usually the title is in the chorus, which is the hook. And very true. That's my chorus. No more. There's a little bit more to it, but basically it's no more. I'm not going to accept that. That's not acceptable. It's not going to happen again. I'm not saying it's not going to happen again, but it's not going to go unchecked. But yeah, so I just want to recommend this book again. Let's see, Everything You Always Wanted to Know About Songwriting But Didn't Know Who to Ask by Cliffy Stone. It's an awesome book. He talks about the structure of songwriting. He talks about the mechanics. He also goes into the business part as well. But I wanted to really share that. Yeah, so that's this week's singing tip. Was basically my process, my experience, and how I write my songs. And I want to encourage all of the singers on here, even if you're not a singer, you may be a songwriter and not know it. But I want to encourage you to write your own songs, write your poems, write your stories. Good resource, Benita. Once the song is created, check out everything you better know about. Everything you better know about the recording industry by Kashif. Awesome, yes. And God rest his soul. He recently passed away. I'm so sorry about that because he was a great musician. He was a great, and also, yes, thank you. So I'm going to put both books back when I do my little recap. When I do my thank you message, I'll put both books. Awesome book as well. Yes, I started reading that book. I want to finish it. But yeah, thank you so much for that reference. That's a great book as well. And that's a little more up to date than this book also. But you know, there's a lot of great books out there. Just Google, go to Amazon. There's a lot of great books on songwriting. And that's another thing. Do your research. Study your favorite singers. Study your favorite songs. Listen to how it's constructed. Listen to the music. See, you know, if they, because sometimes you can do the hook first, and then they do the verse. Sometimes sometimes I do that as well with my songs, but I like to do the first verse, the chorus. But study the songs that you love. Oh, Tim, yes, everyone has a song in their heart. And you know what? You may be a budding songwriter and may not even know it, but you won't know it until you try it. Just put something down. If you had an experience like me that inspired you to write a song, or there's something on your heart, I think you can do it. Now we'll get in the next singing tip. We'll get into what makes a hit song. Hi, Uncle Paul. You're trying to get my attention, what you're saying, but it's tough because you're so cute. Ooh, thank you, Uncle Paul. Thank you. That's so sweet. Thank you so much. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope this is helpful to you. But yeah, that's my process. And if you're just joining, this is Singing Tips by Benita Charles. I give singing tips to beginner singers to help them to become professional. And this section, we're talking about songwriting. So it's all about the singers writing their own songs. If you enjoyed this singing tips, please share it out to your friends. And if you missed anything, you can catch it on the replay. But I just want to thank everyone for your attention, everyone for joining me. I hope this is helpful. I blog everything, so if you want to connect to my blog, is at Instagram at BCM Sings. If you click on the bio, it goes right to the Singing Tips blog. I put all of these singing tips on YouTube. Presently working on a book to put it all together. I'm really excited about that. Also available for bookings if you're interested in, if you need music for your event. I have a trio, and also I can put it together a full band. So you can reach me at 212-802-9249 through my company, Star Entertainment in New York. But I want to thank you all so much for being here and for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Join me again next week for another singing tips. And we're going to be talking about all the elements of a hit song. So in the meantime, keep writing, keep working, keep dreaming, keep working on whatever it is you want to do. Don't give up. And, you know, share it with me. Let's celebrate it together. And just never, ever give up. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Oh, thank you. Have a great weekend, Sierra. I hope everyone has a great weekend, and I'll see you next time.